strike on it, forces Calendar into a save down to his left. Big save there. Joseph Martinez from 25 yards on, tries the curl. Negri trying to flick it through, and it comes to the back post, and it's a debut goal for Serhii Krivtsov. Hits it off the post. Borgelin saved off the left. Borgelin again has scored. Gives Miami the comfortable lead. Two more goals for Lionel Messi, a 2-goal win for Inter Miami over in-state rivals Orlando City, and Miami are through to the round of 16 in Leagues Cup as this incredible ride continues. We welcome you in to the Inter Miami show. Chris Whittingham alongside the former England, Arsenal, West Brom, and Inter Miami defender Kieran Gibbs. And Kieran, it's a 3-1 win for Inter Miami over Orlando City in the round of 32 of Leagues Cup. And what a night it was at Drive Pink Stadium. What stuck out to you about this performance for Miami and the Herons?
It was Messi and co at it again, Chris. It was a really enjoyable game, and I thought it had everything that you wanted from a derby. You know, It had intensity, chances, goals, and it had that little bit of grit that you want in a derby game. And I thought, Inter Miami were the better side. There's two major differences for me in the last three games. The first is they retain the ball higher up the pitch. They're in the opposition's half more, and they sustain attacks. And so we've been speaking a lot, before the arrival of Messi and Busquets, that was what we wanted more of. And you have to say that the arrival of those two is what we're seeing now. These are the two big differences for me.
Yeah, I saw on social media there was a 38 pass sequence that nearly led to a goal, and that just didn't happen before. And
right.
You saw these incredible passages in play from Inter Miami. As we can go to the highlights now from this one, Inter Miami taking on Orlando City in the round of 32 of Leagues Cup. And the scoring will get started early yet again. Robert Taylor for Lionel Messi off the chest and lashing it into the top corner to give Miami the lead. Orlando would draw level in the first half, but into the second, Cremaschi in behind for Antonio Carlos. It's given as a penalty and eventually confirmed on VAR. Lots of discussion about this decision, but in the end, it was a yellow card given to Antonio Carlos. And Kieran, also a fair bit of discussion about the decision from Lionel Messi to hand this penalty off to Joseph Martinez.
Yeah, I think that's a class act. I think that Messi wants to keep incorporating the other players on the team, and we know how prolific Martinez is from the spot and just as a player in general, so I'm sure he had no problem in handing that over to him.
26 of 31 career on penalties before this, make it 27 of 32. Inter Miami getting the 2-1 lead, which they would not relinquish from there. But Joseph Martinez's first goal in this sort of new era, playing with his teammates. He used to call Orlando City, or he used to call himself the daddy of Orlando City back in the day. He'd score all kinds of goals in that rivalry when he was playing with Atlanta. Scores against Orlando again, and then here would be the third. Again, Robert Taylor picking out a nice ball towards the back post, but Joseph Martinez, the composure to lay it off for Messi's third. And what a goal it was. You can see Messi leaping into the arms of Joseph Martinez in the celebrations. He's come to appreciate all his new teammates. Tata Martino appreciating it from the technical area as Miami would finish 3-1 winners on the day. But Kieran, wanted to break down those goals a little bit more, and particularly the passes for those goals. Robert Taylor's for the first Messi goal was absolutely spectacular, recognizing that secondary run into the area, clipping it in perfectly, and Messi, again, knowing exactly what to do.
Yeah, they're forming a wonderful partnership, the two of them, and that is a pass of the highest quality. Robert's really come alive. He looks like he's just enjoying himself out there, and it's great to see. And we know he likes to cut in on his right, and he sees the run immediately. You just see Messi at the last second just make that run, and it's a perfect ball. It is a perfect ball right in his path. And how many times have we seen Messi do this? Just take it down on his chest, calm, composed, gets good connection on the ball, and the keeper has no chance.
Yeah, and Pedro Galeza, you almost feel bad for him because Lionel Messi is bearing down 6 yards away to smash it into the top corner. But again, Robert Taylor finding himself in space and then picking out that perfect pass. Joseph Martinez, who talked about his prowess from penalties earlier, and he was always going to put this one away.
Yeah, this is clockwork for him, and he gives the keeper the eyes, and I'm happy for him. I feel like he's linking up really well. I thought he had a good game. I think he held the ball up really well. He's looking for his teammates. He's almost changed his game a little bit in terms of, he's so dangerous in front of goal, but I think he's realising that not always he has to be the main character, and he's bringing his teammates into play. I mean, this is just the composure to lift the ball over the defender's head is world class. Is world class play. To spot a teammate who's in a better position than you, to give the boys the best chance of winning the game when he could have taken that on his own is beautiful.
I think that, for me, is the biggest thing about this particular passage in play, is that Josef Martinez has such an incredible goal-scoring record in his Major League Soccer career. In almost every instance that I've seen him play, he's taking off the chest and hitting it first time, whether there's defenders in the way or not. He backs himself to find the right finish. But there's something about playing with Lionel Messi that almost requires of whoever you're playing with, you have to think about not only where is Messi, but sort of his ethos, who he is as a player, and it's always about giving, going from a good chance to a great chance. And I think Josef, for someone who's scored so many goals in his career, is taking that on.
Yeah, and the thing with Josef is that if he takes that on the chest and tries to shoot, you probably wouldn't say anything, right? He had every right to try and take the shot, but you're right. He's realizing that it's bigger than that, and you need to feed a player like Messi at any moment you can, because he's the most dangerous player in the world. So
now, looking ahead here, we had a couple of debuts in the game for Inter Miami. Jordi Alba coming on as a sub, and Diego Gomez coming on as a sub. We're starting to see the new players coming along. Obviously, we talked in the last show about Facundo Farias coming into the team. We'll see him in due course. And, of course, Tomas Aviles announced as the newest signing for Inter Miami since we last spoke. But we saw a couple of players make their debuts, and I think it'll be interesting to see, Kieran, over the course of time, how those two guys and really the 6 new signings that are coming in over the course of this summer are integrating bit by bit, piece by piece.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with their debuts. They both look ready to contribute. They've hit the ground running. They look like they've been here for years. Jordi, with his experience and his composure, slotted straight into the back four. And Gomez looks like he's a real engine, and he's got the right attitude. You can tell he's an intense player, and that's what you need. You need those players in the middle of the park that kind of a rough and tumble, and they've got that quality as well to give the ball to the more creative players. So they've both had a really bright start.
And with Jordi Alba coming on and making his debut in the game, I think now looking forward here, the way that the shape of the game plays out, you have basically former Barcelona players that are incredibly strong and prolific in their careers in each area of the pitch. You have Jordi Alba down the left, you have Busquets controlling things in the middle, and Messi's starting position is off the right, albeit he's given the freedom to roam. But it's going to be difficult for opposition to key in on those guys when you don't really know where to commit all your defenders.
Yeah, and that's going to be the biggest problem for the other teams now, is because it's kind of like a new spine throughout the team with such high quality. And if you try to focus too much on one player, you're going to get punished, because all defenders get drawn to the main player, most of the time Messi, and because he's so good, he finds that space for the other players, and that's why we're seeing players like Robert Taylor flourish at the moment, and players like Josef and Kramashi. So that's going to be a real problem for oppositions coming up.
And the next opposition to try and figure that out is FC Dallas. That is the next opponent for Inter Miami in Leagues Cup. It's the first trip away from home for Inter Miami in this new era. Getting comfortable here at Drive Pink Stadium with 3 consecutive home matches. But now the travels begin as FC Dallas, the higher seeded team, coming into the tournament. And so it's a trip to the Toyota Stadium. And Kieran, that's a tough place to go. Middle of summer. I think on Wednesday night when they also played at the same time as Inter Miami, it was 101 degrees in Dallas. It's a difficult challenge to go away from home, and I think we're going to see for the first time what kind of the traveling roadshow, the craziness of Messi going from city to city with Inter Miami is going to be like.
Yeah, this is going to be another big test for the team, adapting to a new environment, adapting to the travel. And we spoke about that the boys are going to have to adjust to new surroundings. But if their performance goes by anything like the last 3 games, they won't have a problem. They won't have a problem. They've been brilliant. They've been brilliant, and I think that's where Tata has to come in now, and prepare the players well, get them recovered, and this is where all the behind the scenes work goes in to making sure that they're best prepared to put in another great performance.
Yeah, and we'll see if Miami can make it through to the quarterfinal of Leagues Cup, which regardless of the result, Miami will host here at home if Miami win at this round of 16 match. But really exciting times. Lionel Messi, 5 goals in his first 3 games for Inter Miami. It has been great fun to watch this team grow so quickly with obviously all of these new signings. But that'll do it for us on this week's edition of the Inter Miami Show. Hope to be talking to you after another Miami win, progressing potentially to a Leagues Cup quarterfinal and potentially on the brink of a place in next year's CONCACAF Champions Cup. For our tremendous production team, for Kieran Gibbs and myself, Chris Whittingham, we thank you for watching this week's edition of the Inter Miami Show.